AITA for being racist over a baby name? I'm not a native English speaker, so apologies for the grammar, spelling. Also, the situation happened not in the US, UK. I live in Russia. To be more precise, in Nakhodka city in the eastern part of the country. My sister, 22Y, is dating a guy from Japan and she got pregnant. They're planning to raise the baby in Russia as her boyfriend is working with a Russian company and eventually moved to Moscow. They decided to give the kid a traditional Japanese name, which in Russia and probably in the most parts of the Western world is associated with a car brand. I'm in no way biased against Japanese culture or names, but I think it would be weird for a kid to live with a name that instantly reminds people of a car. When my sister disclosed the name, I politely confronted her and said that the name is too unusual and not very appropriate for our culture. I explicitly said I have nothing against Japanese names. I personally think that any other name would be just perfect as long as it has no cars, food, references. She lost it, called me a racist and told me to not whitewash her future baby. As I said before, I have absolutely nothing against her husband and her baby. I personally think Japanese names are beautiful and she could have chosen a very beautiful name for her future kid. I also said her kid will be already a target of bullying as she will be a mixed kid in a predominantly white part of the country. The thing is, I myself share the name with a car brand popular in Russia and I've been picked at because of it all through the school. When I brought up this fact, she said that I overreacted and I'm a projecting racist. LMAO, don't whitewash my future baby, NTA. You'll likely have a lot of conflict moving forward on this, unfortunately. Maybe Mitsubishi will adapt person shrugging medium light skin tone. NTA. Somebody has to tell home truths. And who better than family? And one who can relate to the situation. People choosing names should consider long-term implications. Who wants their child to possibly get bullied or made fun of for their name? Or later discriminated against in other ways? There's lots of considerations when choosing a baby name, including how it works with the surname. E.g., if your surname is Jas, don't call your baby Hugh. Cross-cultural issues are another. For instance, Aryan is a popular name in Hindi but would be a terrible choice in Western Europe, especially Germany. Lies is a popular name in Germany and the Netherlands but is a terrible choice in English-speaking countries. You're not racist. You're just thinking of the child's future welfare. Surely they can come up with a name that works in both languages? NTA. NTA. Don't name your child Toyota, Subaru or Nissan. There are so many beautiful Japanese names with beautiful meanings. Unfortunately, due to long history of world isolation by Iron Curtain, Russian people are extremely narrow-minded about anything different, and nasty name-calling for foreign culture kid is pretty much guaranteed, especially in provincial area. But truth to be told, your nephew will be mixed race, and even if your sister will name him something very Slavic like Dobrynya or Nikita, it will not help him much. Only way to stand up for bullying is lots of unconditional love and support from the family. Start with that. Talk to your sister. Apologize for misunderstanding your wording and show her how much you care about her and her future baby. NTA. Ne ozadala v atom sabe uvade zemlakov, a zivyu vssa no rodom is spaska, mozit bit dva kasa sdot nahodki, a nasit vasego posta iskazu 100% NTA. V pravi est mnogo krasavai apiska iman kotori I na ruskam azite zavukat blagosvichna, u nas saras masak raditsa dok. My special no podborali tako ima, kotoro I na anglijskam. I na ruskam azike haroso zavukit. To be fair, Japan's car names are often familia names. And these names often have a rural background. Seiko, Yamaha, etc. NTA. You gave her a heads up from experience. You can't push anymore. It's her decision at the end of the day and you've tried to help. Leave it be and salvage your relationship. I'm assuming it's Subaru because that is a name and it has a meaning. However, you are correct that people who have no knowledge of any Japanese culture wouldn't know that and would think of the car. When it comes to a name that has connections to something else besides it being a name, so a brand name, a known acronym. For some examples, it is important to consider the culture the child will be raised surrounded by. Even names of characters from fictional shows and movies and books can quickly become inappropriate for reasons outside the family's control. Unfortunately, individual societies are not always aware of the meaning of something in another. So a name that is known specifically as a car where the child is being raised needs special consideration. You are NTA for showing your concern. Your sister has to really sit and think about this instead of jumping to racism. She should probably have a discussion with her partner about the name. For everyone wondering, Op said in another comment that the name is Subaru, not Suzuki, in case that informs your judgment. Na assuming you were nice and polite etc. You're allowed to have an opinion and give advice. But you do have to drop it now that you've had this response. It's not your kid. It's not up to you. Let it go. Your sister probs could have been nicer, but she's pregnant and obviously having difficulty navigating cross-cultural stuff, so we'll give her a break, I reckon. NTA your sister is being ignorant if she thinks that her child won't be bullied for its name. NTA. A name that is appropriate in one country doesn't always work well in another country. One of my friends told me how he and his brother would always crack up laughing every time their neighbor called her daughter inside. The daughter's name was a perfectly ordinary US name, but in the country they were originally from, it was a swear word. Had that girl moved to their country, it would have been a problem. It's sad that your sister is not hearing a very legitimate reason to rethink what she names her child. YTA. There are plenty of people named Mercedes. Yes, it is associated with a car brand, but it is a nice name nonetheless. Soft YTA. I'm a white woman married to a Japanese man. I'm fairly sure the name they're thinking of is Subaru, which is actually the constellation Pleiades in English, or the Seven Sisters. And the reason Subaru Motors has its star logo. It's a really common name. I have at least 3 close friends who are either named Subaru, are married to a Subaru, or have a kid named Subaru. If it were a name that meant something rude or funny in your language, culture, I might say NAH. I avoided names like Kiora for my kid because it sounds like Kia ora, which is thanks, hello in my country. And Kai means food. But this isn't that. Yes, it's a brand name. But so is Lewis, Tiffany, Ford, Calvin, Christian, McLaren. And 2 of those are car brands too. Edit. I've also just looked at where Op is on a map. They're right on the Sea of Japan FFS. They're closer to Hokkaido than I am. And I live in Japan. I find it hard to believe that anyone there would be unaware of their very close neighbor Japan, or unable to understand if the kid explains they're part Japanese. NTA her child would be bullied relentlessly if you stay in Russia. I'm actually gonna go away from everyone else and say that actually. YTA. But not for being racist, as someone who grew up with a car name that has cultural significance in my family. You just sound ignorant and therefore. YTA. Cars are frequently named after people. So are we supposed to just stop using those names because someone else named their car company that? Are we expected to abandon our cultures because someone's making money off of our names? No, we shouldn't be. I've noticed people on AITA get way too upset about names and people getting bullied for them. My name is Mercedes. Because Mercedes is a traditional Spanish name that has been in my family for a long time and I am Hispanic. Was I lightly teased growing up about it? Yes. Was I bullied? No. And the light teasing has made me more fiercely proud of my name and culture than I would be if my name was just Maria or something. If someone has a problem with my name, that is a them problem, not a me problem. When people make comments about my name, and I point out that it is a sacred cultural name and is very important to me, then they feel bad. Your sister's kid will have a beautiful cultural name and I hope you and your sister encourage her to wear it with pride, not shame because of fear of bullying. It's not like your sister is naming her kid after the car. I'm not about to let white people make me feel bad about my ethnic name. And it sounds like that's the way your sister and her husband feel about their kid's name. So, YTA. NTA. You bring up a relevant point. And she overreacted to the point of name-calling and insults. That said, I do think there are a lot of factors you're not taking into account. Subaru isn't a super obscure, weird Japanese name. It's a fairly common one. OP's BF could well have a personal, family reason for wanting to name the child Subaru. And that kids who are going to be jerks to your future niece will be jerks regardless of her name. They'll just find another excuse. All in all, I don't think your sister and her BF are wrong for knowing that Subaru is a car brand and naming their kid that anyways. NTA and not racist. But you may be wrong. Sure, a brand name association can be a source of ridicule, but kids will make fun of other kids whether their name makes it easy or not. Such as my mom, whose name was perfectly normal, Patricia, and yet kids called her Fatty Patty. Besides, I've known a couple people named Mercedes who loved their name and weren't made fun of for it. So it may also depend on the name. My thoughts on names will always be this. Is it wrong for a child to be bullied on account of their name? Absolutely yes. Will a child's potential bullies find something else to bully them for even if they have a normal name? Almost certainly yes. However, if you are knowingly giving potential bullies more ammunition, you are being a jerk to your future child. It sucks that your nephew could potentially be bullied for a name that is a cool nod to his heritage. But that is unfortunately the situation he would be in. Bullying isn't going to be solved over the next 1015 years. NTA in my opinion. Through I would have been nah if not for your sister's disproportionate reaction.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.